there is every possibility that the vapor which is going to the condenser can contain water as the along with the ammonia actually. So what we do actually is, in the generator, the strong solution which is leaving the absorber here first passes through this solution heat exchanger. This is the solution heat exchanger. It goes to the analyzer. Analyzer is a sort of you can say separator. There we have the liquid here, or the strong solution which is entering the analyzer. Here the generator, in the generator there are the vapors of solution which are moving upwards. So if there is any ammonia which is present here, these are the baffle actually, these are the baffles. Okay, so any moisture, this liquid is at high temperature, any moisture will go down into the generator section, and we have lesser water particle here. Okay, here we have lesser water particle at this particular point, and we also have a separate rectifier or dehydrator implemented in a ammonia water absorption system for the purpose that we means reject heat here, and whatever is the moisture which is present here in the form of the water, that will be settled here and will go down from this strip into the analyzer, and once again it will go back to the generator. The reason is, whenever we are supplying heat here in the generator, say I take a temperature of say 100 degrees Celsius, what will happen? The normal boiling point of ammonia is minus 33, whereas the normal boiling point of moisture or the water is 100 degrees Celsius. So which component will boil first of all? It is ammonia. But there is every possibility at 100 degrees Celsius the water will also boil. So that is the reason why it goes along with ammonia, and that was the reason why we require a temperature difference of 200 degrees Celsius between the two components. If I would have some other absorbent in place of water, for which the normal boiling point is 200 degrees Celsius, then I would not need this rectifier or this analyzer part actually, because at 100 degrees Celsius that absorbent will not boil off actually. So that is very important actually. And then um, uh, in a practical system, as it is the practical vapor absorption system of ammonia and water, we have introduced a solution heat exchanger also, because the liquid which is the weak solution which is coming from here, this W shows the weak solution which is coming from the generator is at high temperature, whereas the liquid which is strong here, S shows the strong solution which is going through the pump, is at the low temperature. So the heat exchange takes place here between the strong solution and the weak solution, and the temperature here actually increases at that particular point, and we have to supply lesser amount of the heat in the generator, and it will increase the COP of the system. Simultaneously, we also have used a liquid vapor heat exchanger in the condenser and the evaporator section, and because of which we can subcool the refrigerant before it goes into the evaporator. That will also increase the COP of the system. Okay, this was about the practical vapor absorption system. Now this is the Electrolux refrigerator. So it is also a type of you can say vapor absorption system. Now this is also very simple. Here also similar components are there, but one very important thing about it is there is no pump actually. It is a thermosiphon system. It is working on the principle of thermosiphon. The components are arranged in such a way that the flow is taking place automatically. Can you see any device here which is making the fluid to flow? No, there is no device here. It is all together working on the thermosiphon principle. And one more important point about it is that it's only a small amount of the heat energy is required in the generator, and it's a three fluid refrigerator. So let me explain its working. Now Electrolux refrigerator works as a three fluid system. It's a three fluid. What are those three fluids? One is ammonia, other is hydrogen, and then there is water also present in the system. Because when we say aqua ammonia, aqua, it is basically water and ammonia actually. Okay, there is no circulation pump. Total pressure in the system is same throw out. So the system is at same pressure everywhere. There is no where you will find that the pressure is different. The third fluid remains mainly in the evaporator, thus reducing partial pressure of the refrigerant to enable to evaporate at low pressure and hence low temperature. Now I would like to explain you what actually it's happening. See, this is condenser here. This is condenser. You see it is evaporator here. Here we have the generator. Here we have the absorber. Here we have a separator. Here we have U-tube seals. Okay, these are the four components. And the hydrogen actually remains only in the evaporator part and the absorber part actually. So what exactly is happening? See, here we have ammonia only, ammonia vapors, which are going into the condenser. After it passes through the condenser, it is condensed at this particular location. Okay, so why we have provided a U seal? U seal has been provided so that the hydrogen gas which has been provided to be circulated in evaporator and absorber should not go into the condenser actually. That is why, you know, hydrogen is lighter, so it will not go down actually. So this U seal prevents the motion of the hydrogen into the condenser actually. So that is why only the liquid ammonia passes from this U seal and goes into the evaporator. Now, what is the pressure of the ammonia here? I can see the pressure here is somewhere around 20 bar in the condenser. The moment it reaches into the evaporator, its pressure actually reduces because hydrogen is already present there. So, because of the Dalton's law of partial pressure, the pressure of the ammonia reduces. So probably I can give you a value. The pressure of the ammonia may fall to 2 bar in the evaporator. Once it falls to 2 bar, its temperature also reduces, and this reduction in the temperature causes the cooling effect to take place here in the evaporator and this section in the evaporator. And here in this section here, the ammonia vapors after passing from the evaporator are going down, and here you can see there is weak ammonia which is coming from the generator section from this passing from the separator. It is coming here. So this weak ammonia, aqua ammonia, and this ammonia which is in the vapor form at this particular location, they mix and they pass through the absorber. Weak aqua means it contains lesser amount of the ammonia, and ammonia is coming here, so they mix here and it becomes a rich solution or a strong solution because it contains more of the refrigerant now. Okay, and you see there is a arrow which is showing here the refrigerant hydrogen is going passing here to then passing here and then once again going back to hydrogen and then circulating here, and in between there is a heat exchanger which is provided here for the heat exchange to take place so that the cooling may take place. Now you see it here, after this strong aqua ammonia is produced here in the absorber section, it is passed through the generator. Hydrogen will not go here. The reason is it's a gas. It will not go downwards actually. So it's only the strong aqua which goes into the generator section. And because we are supplying heat here, because of this heat, the bubble formation will take place. And here in the separator, it will be a wet ammonia actually. So it will be containing moisture, water also, ammonia also, and ammonia vapor. Whatever the ammonia vapor would be there, they will pass here into the condenser because the ammonia is separated here. So here we will have weak aqua which is containing more of the water and less of the ammonia. So I hope the functioning of this Electrolux refrigerator is clear to you. Okay, so I will not go much here because I have already explained it from the diagram, but I would like to show you this particular slide. Here you can see what is the condenser temperature, 50 degree. What is the pressure of the ammonia, 20.33. The moment it reaches into the evaporator inlet, the pressure of ammonia has dropped to 1.5 bar, and at its exit, its pressure is minus 15. You know, because why there is change in the temperature and pressure, because the hydrogen is also present here, and that is why the evaporation in the evaporator is not isothermal. But if you see, the total pressure is 20.33 in the system. In the evaporator, the total pressure is 20.3. At the exit, the total pressure is 20.3. Generator top, it is 20.33. Everywhere the pressure is same in the system. But the hydrogen gas is uh, functioning as a expansion device. If you will see the system here, you can see there is no expansion device in the system. You remember the vapor compression system. After the condenser, there used to be an expansion device and expansion valve, a throttle valve. Here, there is no throttle valve at all. The function of throttle valve is being done with the help of the hydrogen gas, which is already present in the evaporator, and it is causing the pressure of ammonia to drop. By dropping the pressure of ammonia, the temperature also drops. So I hope this is clear to you. Okay, now till now, whatever I have explained you